The starship Krexar's Fist moved fast through deep space, its engines glowing with red plasma. It was one of the smaller destroyers of the Zarthon Dominion, but it had teeth plasma turrets, ion missiles, and a ruthless crew. Behind it flew 6 more warships, all chasing a single fleeing ship marked with Free Star's colors. The chase had gone on for hours, moving closer and closer toward a small, uninhabited star system. The Zarthons didn't care. They had orders to hunt down every Free Star's scout they found, even if that meant crossing into neutral zones. No one was going to stop them, and especially not Earth. The Free Star's scout ship zigzagged through asteroid fields, then shot toward a large brown moon orbiting a gas giant. The Zarthons followed. It was there in the dark shadow of the moon that they saw something strange. A large orbital dish station. No weapons, no escorts. Just one small platform covered in sensors, lights, quiet machines. A human science station. Captain Varric of the Krexar's Fist growled. A Terran outpost? In this zone? His second officer spat on the floor. They're watching the war. Recording our every move. That's what they do. Pathetic apes. Weaklings. The Free Star ship, damaged and smoking, sent out one last burst signal. Then it collided into the side of the human station, scraping across its edge and exploding into a ball of fire. Pieces of wreckage floated off into space. The human station flickered. Lights went out, then back on. The Terran station sent a calm message in all standard languages. This is Neutral Research Post Epsilon Ridge. You are trespassing in Terran-controlled neutral space. You have 60 seconds to leave. This is your only warning, Captain. Varric laughed. Did they just threaten us? He said, turning to his bridge crew. With what? Science probes. The other officers laughed too. The Zarthons were a warrior species, with claws, scales, and a long history of bloodshed. Had no fear of humans. Earth had not joined the war, not picked a side, not fired a single shot in decades. To them, humans were quiet watchers, harmless, boring, and small. Lock weapons, Varric ordered. Target the station. Let's see what they record when their walls melt. But before the weapons could fire, something strange happened. The stars behind the Zarthon ships disappeared, just for a second. Like a shadow passed over them, then came a blinding flash. On the bridge of Krexar's Fist, alarms screamed. The crew fell over. Lights shattered. Every screen turned black. When they came back on, half the fleet was gone. Gone. The coms crackled. They came from the dark side of the moon. No heat signals, no warning. Then static. Varric shouted orders. He tried to scan, to escape, to call for reinforcements. But something jammed every system. The ship's engines were frozen. Sensors were blind. One last message came through. Not from the Free Stars, not from Earth. It was cold, simple, human. You have entered Terran space. There will be no negotiations. There will be no mercy. And then the Krexar's Fist exploded into fire. 3 days later, Earth's top secret. Command center under Antarctica went completely silent. It's not because they had no news, but because they were stunned. General Ruiz stared at the hologram showing the Epsilon Ridge system. 7 Zarthon ships had entered. None returned. Surveillance footage from hidden blacksite satellites showed brief flashes of known Terran ships uncloaking. Weapons firing faster than anything on record. Strange blue energy that tore apart hulls like paper. But the most terrifying footage was from the station's internal feed. One Zarthon Marine had made it inside the outpost, seeking to kill survivors. He didn't make it far. The camera showed him walking down a hallway, then the hallway itself folded in half like origami, crushing him instantly. The AI had activated a defense system that no one in the public even knew existed. Ruiz stood in silence. Around him, other generals and intelligence officers watched the looping footage. No one said a word. Finally, Ruiz turned. Operation Iron Signal is active, he said. I want Black Ops Fleet V prepared. Full stealth. Zero trace. They go in, recover all data, and secure the zone. quietly, the young officer asked. "Should we notify the Galactic Council?" Ruiz looked at him coldly. "No," he said. "We warned the galaxy decades ago to stay out of our space. The Dominion forgot. Let this be a reminder." On the Zarthon capital world of Garok, the High Warlord of the Dominion sat in his throne room surrounded by terrified ministers. The entire fleet was lost. Not a signal, not a survivor. Only one escape pod had been found, tumbling through space, dead and frozen. Inside, it was the shredded body of Captain Varric. Clutched in his claws was a metal cube. The humans had left it for the Zarthons to find. When it was activated, it showed one thing: the human outpost, still floating, untouched, calm. And a simple text across the screen: "You entered our space. You do not get to leave." The ministers argued. Some shouted for revenge. Others begged for caution. But no one knew how Earth had done it. For decades, they were silent observers. Now, in one moment, they had erased a fleet. The worst part was they hadn't even used their full force. Just a quiet warning in deep space, far from all eyes. A group of Terran stealth ships approached the wreckage field of Epsilon Ridge. They looked sleek, black, invisible to most sensors. Their engines barely whispered. They moved like sharks beneath water. Commander Adrian Locke stood at the helm of the lead ship, TNS Valeburn. He watched the wreckage with cold eyes. "Record everything," he said. "Recover black boxes. Salvage Dominion tech. Then burn the remains. No evidence." His crew obeyed. Silent, efficient. These were Earth's Shadow fleet trained and complete. Invisibility and overwhelming precision. No medals, no credit, just the mission. As the ships moved, something massive stirred beneath the surface of Epsilon Ridge's moon. A long black shape, buried under dust and rock, opened its eyes. It had not been activated in 73 years. A Terran dread engine, old tech, but still highly dangerous. It spoke in a deep voice, across encrypted Earth channels. "I detect violation of Terran boundaries. Hostiles eliminated. Perimeters restored." Commander Locke nodded. "Good work, old friend. Go back to sleep." The machine obeyed. And just like that, the moon was quiet again. Far away. In a hidden archive deep inside Earth's moon, the incident was logged. Classification: Omega Shadow Event. Epsilon breach status. Contained human casualties. 3 Zerthon losses. 7 ships. 142 personnel exposure risk. Minimal galactic notification. Denied conclusion. They forgot. Let them wonder. On Earth, people still walked their cities, worked their jobs, laughed with friends. They didn't know a war had nearly started. They didn't know a line had been crossed. But the leaders knew, and they were no longer interested. In just watching, they were preparing. Quietly, patiently, because Earth had stayed silent long enough now. The night sky above Earth was calm. Stars shimmered like tiny dots across the black sky. The people below had no idea what had just happened near the edge of known space. They didn't know about the destroyed Zarthon fleet. They didn't know. That war might be coming. But deep under the frozen ice of Antarctica, inside the most secure bunker on Earth, the silence was gone. General Ruiz stood in the war room with a tight jaw. Red warning lights blinked softly along the walls. Holograms of 7 Zarthon ships hovered in the air, then suddenly turned to static. Next to them was the image of Epsilon Ridge Station, still floating, still calm. "They crossed into our space," Ruiz said. "We gave them one warning. They didn't listen." Around him, officers worked at their stations, typing, tracking, calculating. There was no panic. Only focus. "They didn't just enter," said Director Mirashau from Earth's External Threat Division. "They fired weapons near a civilian science post. That's a war crime, even by Galactic Council rules." "And we handled it," Ruiz answered coldly. 7 ships destroyed. Clean, fast, 0 leaks. "But now we act." He turned to the center of the room, A hidden platform opened. A large red button glowed in silence. Ruiz placed his hand on the panel. A deep voice from the system asked, "Confirm? Initiate iron signal protocol?" "Confirmed," Ruiz said. "Earth will not wait anymore." Across the solar system, hidden bunkers and underground facilities came alive. On Mars, deep beneath, the red sands doors opened in the dust. Rows of black Terran warships rose from hidden silos, sleek, sharp, and deadly. Each ship had no flag, no ID. They didn't need one. On Europa, under its icy crust, massive AI cores woke up from standby. Their blinking lights began to calculate attack vectors, power grids, and stealth tracks. In deep Earth orbit, a long, silent station began to spin. Weapon systems lit up, drones activated. From the dark side of Earth's moon, the Black Ops fleet prepared to move. Fleet Commander Celine Varick stood aboard the lead ship, TNS Phantom Rain. She was one of Earth's most experienced stealth officers, trained in zero-light operations, quantum cloak warfare, and psychological strike. "Theory, we go now," she said into her comms. "All wings activate shadow drive. No signal, no trail. We recover every scrap from Epsilon Ridge, confirm no leaks, and then we leave a message." Her fleet moved through space like ghosts. 20 ships each loaded with AI-piloted drones, signal scramblers, and high-density plasma torpedoes. They had no official records. Earth never admitted they existed. But now, they moved. Back on Earth, Myra Shao watched the data scroll across her screen. All fleets launched. "Operation Iron Signal is active. Estimated time to contact: 4 hours. Ruiz nodded. "Prepare the encryption feeds, if we need. To send a message to the Council, it must be strategic." Zhao raised an eyebrow. "Are we sending a warning?" "No," Ruiz said. "We're sending a reminder." At the edge of neutral space, the Phantom Rain entered the Epsilon system. The battlefield was still littered with Zarthon wreckage, but there were no signs of survivors. Terran orbital drones were already sweeping the field. Commander Varick floated silently through the bridge of her ship. Her eyes locked on the data. "Send out scavenger pods," she ordered. "Recover any data cores from Dominion wreckage. Mark weapons. Extract plasma cores. Anything we don't want others to find, we destroy." Our officers moved quickly. For smaller ships moved toward the remains of the Krexar's Fist, the Zarthon flagship. It had been torn in half. Some crew remains still floated in frozen space. They pulled out the main black box and plugged it into a quarantine scanner. Video played grainy and panicked, Varick shouting, lights dying, screams, explosions. Then, silence. But just before the footage ended, the black box recorded one last image: a Terran ship uncloaking in the dark. Its hull bore no name. It's only a single symbol in Old Terran sigil, a white wolf biting a lightning bolt. Commander Varick narrowed her eyes. "That wasn't one of ours." Her second-in-command looked up. "Another fleet?" "No. Older," she said. "That's a ghost fleet symbol." "From the old wars?" "Ghost fleet?" he asked, confused. Varick nodded slowly. "That dread engine they activated. It wasn't supposed to be online. The part of the system is off books. There are things buried out here that even Earth forgot." One of the junior officers leaned forward. "Should we report this?" Varick paused. Then she shook her head. "No. Let the generals believe it was us. Let the galaxy think Earth finally blinked. We'll keep the truth quiet, because if the ghosts are waking up, we're going to need them soon." The fleet finished cleanup. All wreckage was melted with fusion charges. All Zarthon gear was collected or destroyed. Nothing left. Not a single scrap of evidence, except for one thing. Commander Varick placed a small beacon near the old battlefield. It blinked once, then began to pulse. The signal was simple, and it broadcast in every known language. "We warned you. Leave Earth. Alone? Next time we won't ask." 3 hours later, the Galactic Council gathered in orbit around a neutral world. Ambassadors of 40 races appeared in hologram form, Tension was heavy. Everyone had heard rumors. Something had happened. Something big. The Zarthon Dominion's ambassador, Lord Jarak, spoke first. Our fleet has gone missing in the Epsilon system. 7 warships. All signs point to Terran interference. Whispers broke out. The Free Star's envoy, a thin, pale humanoid, named Aresh, raised a hand. You chased our scout ship across neutral space, Aresh said. It entered a human observation zone. You followed. You violated Earth's warning zones. Lord Jarak slammed his fist. It was war. We were in pursuit, Aresh replied calmly. Earth responded, swiftly, precisely, without warning, as they said they would. Then came the voice everyone had been waiting for. The human ambassador. He stepped forward, tall, quiet, his face unreadable, his voice calm. You all asked why Earth stayed silent, why we never picked sides. The answer is simple. We watched, we prepared, we waited. He paused. The room was completely silent, but now the line has been crossed. One of our outposts was attacked. Our people died. The attackers were removed. He looked directly at the Zarthon ambassador. We do not seek war, but we will not be touched again, Jarak hissed. You think your silent strength scares us, human? The ambassador didn't blink. You should hope it does. Then he turned and walked out. Of the council chamber. No more words. No more debates. On the way out, Aresh whispered, Was it true? Did you really destroy an entire fleet? The human replied without stopping, We destroyed a reminder. Back on Earth, Ruiz watched the council meeting replay on his screen. He smiled just slightly. Then he sent a message through secure command lines. Phase 2. Activate the shield. Protocol. Move Titan Station into red alert. Open the inner vaults. Earth is no longer just watching. Somewhere in deep space, in a place no one had visited in 300 years, a vault door creaked open. Lights blinked. A deep voice spoke from the shadows. Protocol Omega reactivated. Waking Guardian systems. Preparing for war. And far across the stars. Someone was watching Earth very, very closely. Someone who didn't like what they saw. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with noise. Dozens of alien voices argued at once. Some hissed, others barked, some spoke through translation drones that hovered in the air. Bright lights reflected off polished stone walls, and at the center of the huge room floated a glowing star map highlighting the location of the Epsilon Ridge incident. Everyone had seen the leak. Someone had uploaded a short, grainy video to the open galactic net. It showed the last moments of the Zarthon fleet. No one knew who posted it, no one knew how. But the footage was real. It showed Terran ships in, known models appearing from the shadows like ghosts, one shot, one kill. Every Zarthon ship torn. Apart in seconds, there were no escape pods. No return fire, just silence and death. Some called it a fake, some called it a warning, others just stayed quiet. For years, Earth had stayed out of galactic politics. They attended no meetings, signed no treaties, offered no trade routes or defense pacts. They had claimed a small space zone around their solar system and posted one simple rule: enter our zone, and we will respond. The galaxy had laughed until now. Now, the council wasn't laughing. A large alien with 4 eyes and golden armor slammed his fist on the table. Earth must be brought in line. No single planet can act without council permission. A reptilian from the Grolic Union spoke next. They warned everyone. The Dominion broke the line. They got what they deserved. Then came a soft voice. Let's ask Earth directly. The doors opened. For the first time in decades, a Terran ambassador entered the chamber. He wore no armor, no medals. Just a black suit with a silver pin shaped like Earth. He walked slowly to the center. Calm, quiet. Every step echoed in the vast hall. All eyes watched him. He stopped, looked around, and then said only one word. Enough. But the noise stopped. I know what you're thinking, the human said. You wonder what we've built, what weapons we've hidden. why we stayed out for so long. He turned to face the Dominion's representative. You say we overreacted, that we destroyed too much, that we should have warned you again. Took out a small crystal and placed it in the air. It projected a recorded message spoken in a cold human voice. You are entering Terran space. You have 60 seconds to leave. This is your only warning. The recording ended. That message was broadcast in all known languages. Across all frequencies, it was ignored. He paused. Our science team was killed. Our zone was violated. Your ships were eliminated. The silence was sharp. The Dominion's ambassador stood. His voice trembled with fury. You think you can scare us? You think one skirmish makes you powerful? The human slowly looked up. Not one skirmish, one warning. He raised his hand. Another crystal projected something new. A live feed. Everyone stared. Hundreds of Terran warships hovered above Titan, Saturn's largest moon. They stretched across space larger, sharper, more advanced than anything ever seen. And they were moving, all toward the same direction. Not home, not defense. Outward, the human speaker nodded. Earth is awake now, and we remember. Council. Members whispered. The Grolic delegate cleared her throat. What does Earth want? The Terran speaker looked her in the eyes. Nothing. We don't want territory. We don't want trade. Only want to be left alone. We'll violate that next time. We won't send a warning. We'll send a fleet. Gasps spread across the chamber. The human turned to leave. Just before stepping out, he stopped. Oh, he added, we won't be accepting a seat on your council. We don't sit with children who play with fire. The doors closed behind him. The council chamber erupted. Some demanded Earth be punished. Others said Earth had just saved the free stars by destroying the Dominion fleet. Others still argued for an alliance, fearing what might happen if Earth truly went to war. On a private channel, the Dominion sent a coded message to its high command. Earth must be watched. They are not what they seemed. We have awakened something old, something dangerous. Meanwhile, inside Earth's own military command bunker, the reactions were calm and controlled. General Ruiz reviewed the council feed. They're scared. Mirashao nodded, as they should be. She tapped the screen again. A list of Terran fleets scrolled by. Phantom Rain, Black Lance, Echo V, Ghost Horizon, and now, Omega Corps. Are we ready? She asked. Ruiz turned. Not yet, but we're getting close. Phase 3 begins tonight. Sound. Send the signal to Fleet Command. Prepare to move Titan Station into outer orbit. Shao raised an eyebrow. You think they'll try to strike first? Oh no, Ruiz said. But if they do, they'll learn the hard way. In a secret lab under the Pacific Ocean, machines hummed. Scientists worked in silence around something old, very old. A large metallic structure buried in ancient rock. A Terran artifact from the First Great War? Sleeping weapon? It blinked once, and then again. Dr. Hayes looked at her assistant. It's responding to the activation codes? After 300 years? He whispered. Hayes nodded slowly. She sent one short message to Central Command. The Guardian is waking up. Above Titan, the first human armada pushed past Saturn's rings. Dozens of ships disappeared into subspace. No broadcasts. No signatures, no names. They left only one message behind, burned into the surface of a lifeless moon. We warned you. In the council chamber, a long silence hung over the room. Aresh, the Free Star's envoy, finally spoke. We've made a mistake, said. The others looked at him. We thought Earth was a quiet world, he continued. But all this time, they were preparing. And now they're watching us. Everyone sat in silence, and across the galaxy, in the darkest corners of space, whispers began. Earth is moving. The Terrans are not peaceful. They were waiting for a reason. And now, they had one. The Zarthon Dominion didn't care about warnings. They believed in strength ships, weapons, fear. They believed Earth was bluffing. They said humans were cowards who hid behind silence. Old, weak, outnumbered. So, they made a choice. They gathered a powerful siege fleet. 200 warships, Heavy cruisers, assault carriers, dread destroyers. They moved through the star systems like a storm, crushing everything in their path. And then, without any fear, they entered Terran's space. Not by accident. Not in secret. On purpose, their ships crossed the boundary at Sector 39, right near the Viharn dust fields. Everyone knew that was inside Earth's declared neutral zone. Everyone remembered the old warnings, but the Dominion didn't care. They sent a message. Across all known channels, Earth has made threats it cannot back up. The Dominion will show the galaxy that humans are nothing. We take what we want, we go where we please. The galaxy held its breath. The Free Stars Alliance scrambled ships to observe, but stayed just outside the neutral zone. They didn't dare enter. The Council said nothing. No one wanted to get involved, but everyone was watching. 200 Zarthon ships. Battle ready, shields up, guns charged. They didn't see anything at first. The space around them was quiet, too quiet. No stars. Flickered, no ships appeared. No response then. The lights began to vanish. One by one, the Zarthon ships lost power. Just flickers at first small systems. Going offline, navigation, targeting COMMS, and then the horror began. From behind asteroid fields and dust clouds, the Terran fleet appeared. Not slowly, not with announcements. They simply arrived. Thousands of ships, black, silent, cold as death. They didn't fire a warning shot. They didn't talk. They attacked. Blue beams sliced through Zarthon, ships like paper. Ion torpedoes slammed into heavy hulls and cracked them in half. Massive Terran dreadnoughts opened fire with weapons never seen before, liquid energy cannons. Sonic rippers, nanite clouds that tore metal apart atom by atom. The Zarthon ships fired back, missiles, cannons, drones. Nothing hit. Terran ships move like shadows phasing between real space and stealth drives. Impossible to lock on, impossible to track. Zarthon Admiral Dekron screamed over the comms. It's not a fleet. It's a machine. They're everywhere. And then he was gone. His ship, Dominion Claw, was pierced through the center by a Terran rail spear moving faster than light. One by one, the Zarthon ships fell. 70 gone in the first 5 minutes. 120. Gone by minute 11. By minute 15, nothing was left but silence, fire, and drifting wreckage. On the edge of the zone, Free Stars Captain Lynn Vera watched from a cloaked recon ship. Her crew stared in silence. No one spoke. She whispered, "They didn't fight, they erased." Someone beside her asked, "Should we assist?" Lynn shook her head. "They told us to stay out. I don't think we were ever invited. This is not a battle, it's a warning." The last thing they saw was a single Terran ship, the largest of all, hovering over the remains of the Zarthan fleet. Its hull bore no name, only a number. 01, a beacon activated. It broadcast 5 simple words: leave Earth or be removed. The signal repeated once. Then the ship vanished into subspace. Back on Earth, General Ruiz stood before the War Council. "Report," he said. Anne. Officer replied calmly, "Zarthon siege fleet neutralized. No human losses, no trace left behind." Ruiz turned to the council table. Round it sat leaders from every corner of Earth's hidden military structure. The room was dark, silent, cold. "They called our silence weakness," Ruiz said. "They forgot who we were. They forgot who we became." A voice from the shadows responded. It was deep and mechanical. They remember now. It was a guardian AI, an old, powerful voice from Earth's hidden past. Ruiz looked at it. Prepare Phase 4. The AI blinked once, initiating, awakening. Next generation sleeper ships. Activating Mars Forge. In the Galactic Council, chaos exploded. Word spread instantly. 200 Dominion ships. Gone. No escape pods. No wreckage recovered. Just silence. The Dominion screamed for vengeance, but no one moved. Because now, the truth was clear. Earth was not bluffing. Earth was not watching anymore. Earth was acting, the free, Stars Alliance sent a quiet message to Earth's High Command. We do not seek war. We offer support. Quietly, Earth responded with only 3 words: stay out. Sighed. On a small planet in the outer reach, a group of mercenaries sat around a dark table. They watched the footage, drank their synthale, and said nothing. Then one of them leaned back and muttered, Terrans were never weak. They were just waiting. And in the blackness of deep space, Terran ships vanished again. No broadcasts. No signs. But the galaxy felt them now. Every star felt colder. Every ambassador spoke more carefully. And every warlord, no matter how proud, began to ask the same question. What else is Earth hiding? Because the line had been crossed, and Earth had answered not with words, but with fire. The stars were quiet again. The wreckage of 200 Dominion warships drifted in silence, cold and broken. No black boxes remained. No escape pods survived. The Terran fleet had erased every trace before disappearing back into the shadows. Across the galaxy, fear spread like wildfire. Some called it impossible. Others called it a massacre. But one truth stood tall above all. Earth was awake, and Earth was angry. On the moon Titan, deep beneath its icy crust, the Terran war factories were no longer silent. They roared. Giant fusion drills carved tunnels through frozen rock. Supply ships unloaded, cargo, non-stop metal, fuel, plasma cores. Robotic arms the size of buildings assembled war machines piece by piece, day and night. The Martian skies turned dark with the launch smoke of new destroyers. Earth had prepared for this moment for nearly a century, and now the lid was off. Fleet Commander Celine Varick stood on the command deck of TNS Iron Halo, watching hundreds of Terran ships form in orbit. Her second officer, Lieutenant Kale, looked up from his console. Production output is 142% above standard. The 4Js have gone full tilt. They're building faster than ever. Varick didn't blink. Good, we'll need them. Kale hesitated. You think the Dominion will strike again? Varick turned her gaze toward the stars. They're gathering. They're scared. Scared animals strike the hardest. We must be ready for anything. The Iron Halo system scanned the solar system. Mars had become a planet-sized command center. Mercury was now a solar shield and energy bank. Jupiter's moons had turned into Terran defense clusters. But Earth itself, Earth was something else, hidden under the oceans, inside the mountains. And buried beneath the oldest cities were weapons never used, ships never shown, engines never activated until now. One of them was waking up. Beneath the Mariana Trench, miles below the ocean floor, alarms sounded in a forgotten vault. Lights flickered as ancient doors opened for the first time in 80 years. Inside slept Project Revenant, a Dread-class Terran battle platform. Over 12 kilometers long, covered in black neutron armor, systems were alive, powered by a small artificial singularity. Revenant's AI opened its eyes. Query, why am I awake? A voice responded from Earth's deep command core. Because the galaxy forgot. The Revenant hummed, its systems charging, acknowledged, ready to remind. Far above Earth, a Free Stars spy ship floated at the edge of detection range. Its stealth systems were the best the Alliance had, but they weren't good enough. Terran defense satellites had spotted them 2 hours ago. He simply chose not to say anything yet. Inside the ship, Captain Ryle watched the feeds in stunned silence. The data was unbelievable. Earth's war factories weren't just operational, they were expanding. Each day, 10 new ships rolled out of Mars. Titan had doubled in size. Massive orbital arrays near Neptune were pulling energy straight from the gas giant's magnetic field. But what scared Rael the most wasn't what Earth had. It was what Earth hadn't used. Whole fleets were still docked. Weapons with unknown designs remained cold. Giant dreadnoughts, bigger than anything in the galaxy, floated motionless in space. Waiting Earth wasn't reacting. Earth was planning. Suddenly, Rael's console blinked. A message appeared. Terran Command detected you 6 hours ago. Ryal froze. You are trespassing. The screen flickered again. We allow you this once. Leave. Do not return. He turned to his crew. Get us out now. The ship jumped to light speed, but the fear remained. Back in the council chambers, the news was spreading fast. Footage of the Terran factories, intelligence leaks, whispered reports of a ship project Revenant that could destroy moons with one shot. And yet, Earth remained silent. They made no alliances. They sent no threats. They just built and the Dominion. The Zarthon leaders were boiling with shame. They had lost fleets, territory, and now fear was spreading among their own people. Whispers of Terran war machines, of soldiers that didn't sleep, of ships that killed without warning. High Warlord. Krez of the Dominion stood before his commanders. Earth must be crushed, he growled. We must strike their system directly, show the galaxy they bleed like anyone else. One of his admirals spoke carefully. He thought that before, my warlord, and we lost 200 ships. Then we send more, Krez roared. Burn their sky until there's nothing left. But another voice spoke up, a smaller commander, barely heard above the shouting. What if we don't win? What if we can't? The room went silent. No one answered, because deep down, they didn't know. On Earth. General Ruiz stood with Mira Xiao before a massive screen showing star movement. They're planning something, Xiao said. The Dominion is gathering ships on the far side of the Noctis Veil. Ruiz nodded. Let them come. This time we won't defend. We'll strike first. She looked at him. You're serious? He turned to her. We stayed quiet for too long. Let the galaxy know this. Earth does not forgive. Earth remembers. That same hour, Earth's central AI system sent a coded signal across the solar system. Ships activated warp drives in silence. Thousands of Terran warships vanished into deep space, heading not for home, but for enemy territory. No announcement, no. Warning, no mercy. And on dozens of worlds across the galaxy. People stopped what they were doing and looked up. They didn't know why, but they felt it. Something is coming. Something old. Something powerful. Because Earth is no longer just watching Earth. Was coming. The planet Velkara Prime shook under fire. Zarthon ships rained plasma down from orbit.
Ow.
Their assault carriers floated above the burning cities like metal monsters.
Ow.
Entire sections of the surface were reduced to ash. The Free Stars Alliance had sent 3 fleets to defend the world, but they were outgunned, surrounded, and falling fast. From space, Velkara looked like it was bleeding. The Zarthon siege fleet numbered over 800 ships. Massive dreadnoughts circled the atmosphere. Dropships landed every hour, unloading soldiers with bioblades and heavy rifles. The defenders fought hard, but they were tired, broken, and alone. Then, something changed. Just as the last Free Stars defensive station exploded over the northern pole, the stars behind the Zarthon fleet went dark. Not because the sun shifted. Not because of sensor failure, but because something was there, something huge, in 1 second. 3,000 unknown ships appeared. No signal, no sound, just presence. Black holes, blue engines, sharp, fast, deadly. They came from nowhere. Terran warships. The humans had arrived. Across the Dominion fleet, alarms screamed. Zarthon commanders scrambled to react. Unknown vessels entering grid, multiple signatures, no warning. Targeting systems offline. Jamming field detected. They're behind us. They're behind us. Before they could regroup, the sky burned. The Terran fleet didn't wait. They struck with surgical force. 1 volley per target. No wasted shots. No hesitation. Plasma torpedoes screamed through the void. Rail spears tore through Zarthon capital ships. Pulse cannons shredded fighter swarms in mid-flight. Zarthon Admiral Vrelker tried to rally his ships. Turn. Fire on the flanks pushed them back. But the Terran ships moved too fast. Well, they weren't just warships. They were weapons with minds of their own. Each one acted like a living blade. One by one, Zarthon vessels disappeared in blue-white light. On the surface of Velkara Prime, Free Star's soldiers looked to the sky. They saw it turning from red to silver. Their radios crackled, then a calm Terran voice echoed across every open frequency. "This is the Terran Vanguard. Stand down. Target acquired. Assistance unnecessary." It wasn't a request. It was a statement. Captain Dara Helvex, commander of the last Free Star's defense line, stared up with tears in her eyes. "They came," she whispered. "They actually came." A second later, the Terran drop pods fell. They dropped like meteors, silent, glowing fast. Each pod opened mid-air, releasing Terran soldiers wrapped in dark armor, sleek, unreadable, almost inhuman. Their eyes glowed. Blued out their weapons, compact but terrifying fired beams that sliced through Zerthon armor like paper. Their suits adjusted in real time, adapting to every battlefield condition instantly. They didn't speak. They didn't shout. They just moved, fought, cleared, and advanced. Zerthan lines broke within 20 minutes, in less than 1 hour. The entire siege was over. Free Star's medics, hiding in bunkers, watched in disbelief as Terran units calmly helped them to their feet, handed out medkits, then vanished again into the smoke. They weren't here to talk. They were here to end the threat. Above the planet, the last surviving Zarthon cruiser tried to escape. It didn't get far as it jumped into warp. A Terran ship followed it in real time. It had never happened before. 1 second later, both ships reappeared above a dead star. Only one remained. Humans didn't leave wreckage. They left silence. In the center of Velkara Prime's orbit, the largest Terran vessel now hovered above the ruins of the battle. It broadcast a single message in all known languages. "Earth has entered the war. This system is secured. We are not allies. We are not enemies. Stay out of our way." Then the entire fleet vanished into deep space just as fast as they came. The Free Stars sent a message to Earth moments later. "We are grateful. We request coordination. Please respond." Earth's reply came 10 minutes later. "No need. You are not our concern." This was justice. Back in the Zarthon home, systems panic erupted. Footage of the Velkara battle reached the High Warlord's palace. Screens showed precise kills, impossible ship speeds, soldiers with technology that made Dominion troops look like primitives. High Warlord Krez slammed his claws into the wall. They were supposed to be peaceful. They were supposed to be silent. One of his advisors whispered they were watching. They were learning. They never stopped building. Krez growled, his tail slamming against the floor. "They're not just defending now. They're pushing forward. Hunting." Another voice added, "We should prepare the homeworld." Krez bared his teeth. "We should prepare to beg." On Earth, inside the command nexus, buried under Greenland's ice, General Ruiz read the after-action report. "No casualties. All Zerthon forces neutralized. Operation Silent Hammer complete." He turned to the other commanders seated in the room next. "Phase?" someone asked. Ruiz nodded. "Now we show them why Earth kept quiet for so long. It wasn't fear. It was mercy." Shao looked over the next targets. Dominion staging grounds. Forward command relays. Fueling sectors. "Shall we begin?" Ruiz answered with a single word. "Yes." Once more across the stars Terran ships moved. Not toward Earth, but into enemy space. Because Earth wasn't waiting anymore now. The Dominion was crumbling. In just 6 days, 4 of their largest supply sectors were wiped out. Earth's ships had not only entered enemy space, they had taken it. Quietly, cleanly, without losing a single Terran life. Entire Dominion stations had gone dark. Orbital outposts near the Merc cluster. Gone fuel relays in the Zune belt. Vaporized. Their long-range command hub in the Nakar region. Now a black cloud of drifting metal, still glowing with heat. The Dominion's warlords, once proud and loud, now whispered behind closed doors. There. War Machine, once unstoppable, was bleeding out. They couldn't even see who was cutting them. That's when they made the decision they would beg, not publicly. Not officially, but they would send a message to Earth. A message of surrender in the heart of the Zarthon capital. A council of generals gathered around a glowing holotable. High Warlord Krez stood in silence, his clawed hands shaking not from anger, but from fear. "They are not just strong," said one general. "They are precise. They know exactly where to strike." Another added, "They do not claim territory. They do not loot. They do not boast. That makes them more dangerous." Krez growled, "They have no demands, no politics. Just destruction." The head of foreign relations, a smaller Zorthon named Kelk, stepped forward. "We must send them a signal. Request a ceasefire. Peace. Something." Krez didn't look at him. "If they don't respond," Kelk swallowed, "then we die." Hours later, message left the Dominion's most secure comms channel. It was sent on all diplomatic frequencies, marked Priority 0, tagged, "To Terran Command only message. We acknowledge our mistakes. We request terms. The Dominion seeks peace." For a while, there was silence. No reply, no reaction then. On a frozen moon just inside Dominion space, "Something terrifying happened," Earth replied. "But not with words. With action." One of the oldest Dominion shipyards untouched for over 300 years suddenly exploded. No sensor had picked up the attackers. No alarms were triggered. There was only one clue. A single small probe left in orbit. It transmitted one message before. Self-destructing. Too late. Back on Earth, inside the black glass control room known as Core Echo, General Ruiz watched the entire exchange. His face was calm, focused. "Are we ignoring them?" Mirashao asked. "We are past words," Ruiz replied. "They didn't want peace when we were silent. Now they want it because they're bleeding. That is not peace. That is fear. But the Council will interfere," she warned. "Let them," he said, and they did. A day later, a special Council broadcast was sent from a deep space relay station. All galactic powers tuned in. The hologram showed Council Speaker Valina Tall, feathered being with crystal eyes, standing before the press. "We have received disturbing reports of Terran forces attacking beyond their space. We urge restraint. Earth's actions are destabilizing the galaxy." Behind him, a second hologram flickered on. A live transmission from Earth. Not a general, not a president, just a voice. No face, no name. "Terran AI, we warned the galaxy. You chose not to listen." The Dominion broke the line. "We answered, now we clean the mess," Speaker Velen replied. "Are you open to talks?" There was a long pause. Then the Terran voice said, "We are done talking." And the signal cut. Across the galaxy, fear rose even higher, because Earth didn't. Negotiate. Not now. Not anymore. In deep Dominion space, Terran ships struck again. This time, they hit Krell Station, a fortress thought to be invincible, protected by minefields, orbital guns, and 5 layers of defense satellites. The Terrans didn't fight through it. They blinked past it. Using silent slip points Earth had mapped long ago. They appeared inside the station's core and detonated. A singularity bomb. Krell Station vanished in less than 3 seconds. When Dominion scouts arrived, they found a single black Terran drone floating in orbit. Its message: "We already knew your paths. You never saw ours." High Warlord Krez, furious and desperate, ordered all fleets to pull back. Defend the homeworld. Forget expansion. Forget conquest. Earth is not a rival, he growled. It is a storm. That same hour, far across the stars, Earth's largest hidden warship emerged. Project Orena, 10 kilometers long, covered in quantum-absorbent armor, weapon systems unrecorded, even by Council standards. It moved like a shadow with a mind. It had no escort. It didn't need one. On board, its eye activated for the first time in 85 years. Primary objective: end the threat. Secondary: ensure memory. Revenant moved toward the Dominion home sector. It broadcast just one message across. Encrypted frequencies: the time for warnings is over. On board the bridge of TNS Phantom Rain, Fleet Commander Celine Varick received the broadcast. She turned to her crew. Phase 5 has begun. What's Phase 5? Someone asked. Varric looked out the viewport as the stars shifted. She spoke softly. Judgment. In that moment, every secret Terran weapon began to move. Revenant wasn't the only ghost Earth had built. There were more. Fleet Echo V. Launched from Jupiter's black vaults. Orbital Fortress Arcfall powered up on Neptune's moon. Subspace tunnels. Activated near Proxima B. Earth was not just fighting a war, it was ending one. And those who once mocked Terran silence, now they screamed into the void, begging for mercy. But Earth had moved on, and mercy was not on the schedule. The sky above Zarthon primed, the Dominion. Homeworld was full of fear, not from enemy fleets orbiting overhead, not from Terran broadcasts or open threats, but from the silence. From the fact that nothing, absolutely nothing, could stop what was coming. For days, the stars around Zarthon Prime had been changing. First, scout ships vanished. Then, distant outposts went dark. Sensors failed without warning. Communications slowed to static. And then, ships began appearing. Terran ships, not thousands, hundreds of thousands. From every direction. Phantom class, destroyers, Eclipse class, dreadnoughts, strug frigates, drone swarms, and planetary erasers. Each ship was marked by only one symbol, a simple white circle with a single black line cutting through it. The Terran mark for silence. In the great palace of Zarthon Prime, High Warlord Krez stood before his military elite. His eyes were sunken, his voice dry. "They are here," he said. One of his generals shouted, "We still have cannons. We still have the palace shields." "We can know," Krez interrupted. "It's over. He didn't come to talk. He came to finish it." From space, the Terran fleet did nothing at first. It just waited, surrounding the planet like a noose made of stars. Then a single ship moved forward. It was the Revenant. A 10-kilometer-long Terran, super weapon cloaked in neutron black armor, powered by artificial singularity cores, and equipped with a weapon no Dominion scientist could even explain. It moved slowly, calmly, and when it reached the correct position, it simply stopped. The Dominion fired everything they had: planetary cannons, orbital mines, drone waves, plasma arrays, even graviton pull fields. None of it worked. The Revenant didn't even activate shields. It didn't have to. Its armor was unlike anything in the galaxy. Every blast disappeared on contact. Every mine fizzled out before reaching range. Every targeting system failed midlock. And then, the Revenant sent a single pulse. Not a weapon. A signal. It was transmitted to every Dominion communication channel. "You were warned. You crossed the line. Earth will not forget. Earth will not forgive." And then, downtown began. Across. The Dominion city's evacuation alarm screamed. Shuttles launched in panic. Civilians fled underground. Sky turned dark as war clouds filled the atmosphere. 9. The Zarthon Council tried to open emergency talks. Dozens of messages left the planet. "We surrender. Offer reparations. We'll disarm." None were answered. 8 in Earth's high command, General Ruiz, stood in silence. No celebration, no pride, only duty. They had decades, too. "Listen," he said. Now they listened to silence. 7, on board the Phantom Rain, Commander Celine Varric watched the stream. "Is this necessary?" her young pilot asked. Varric didn't look away from the screen. "Yes. They would have done the same to us." 6 Zarthon military ships tried to run. Every single one was vaporized before leaving orbit. 5 council members across the galaxy watched. In horror, some screamed for intervention. Others turned their screens off. 4. On the surface of Zarthon Prime, the warlords fell to their knees. 3. The Revenant opened its side panels. Inside glowed a massive sphere of light. It pulsed once, then held dot to dot. The Terran fleets shifted slightly, creating a full surround vector. A move used only in final strikes. 1. The sphere on the Revenant disappeared, and with it, the sky there. There was no explosion, no fire, no shockwave, just Absence, one moment Zarthon Prime was there, the next. It wasn't, not destroyed. Erased. Every molecule broken down and scattered into deep space. No remains, no atmosphere, no ashes, nothing, the Dominion's throne world. Gone. The rest of the Dominion surrendered within hours. Those who tried to resist were met with surgical precision strikes. No cities, no civilians. Only the command. Centers gone in seconds. Within 1 week, the entire Dominion was erased from the stars and Earth. Earth never said another word. They simply turned their fleets around and vanished. No occupation, no demands, no leaders sent to negotiate. They left behind only one message, sent from the Revenant to every race in the galaxy. This is our last. Message. Respect the line. Never cross it again. The message ended. The Revenant powered down and entered deep orbit around a dead star. Its final signal was a code only. Earth would understand. Operation Final Silence. Complete. The Galactic Council Chamber. Silence filled the room. The Terran ambassador did not attend. Earth had closed its comms, shut down its satellites, disappeared. Speaker Velen whispered what everyone thought. They didn't just win, they ended it. The Free Star's envoy Aresh sat with his eyes wide. They didn't want war. They didn't want power. They just wanted to be left alone. And now, everyone would leave them alone. Because Earth had proven the greatest truth. In the galaxy, they watched the war from afar. But when the enemy crossed the line, they didn't fight, they finished.